It's Chelsa Messenger with Picks and Parlays. We're talking NFL action, Raiders at Falcons. It's Thanksgiving and we've got a nice little special. We've got 50% off 2-for-1 weekly passes, which means you get the picks from two handicappers for the price of one, just $114.99. And you need to use the link picksandparlays.net/turkey. The Raiders are short road favorites in this one, -3. The total is 55. Las Vegas, of course, coming off that back and forth game against the Chiefs, narrowly losing, but they did cover the spread. Atlanta is 3-7 on the year, 4-6 against the number. They are 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 home games, and the under is hitting 5 of their last 7. So, Craig, we were talking about this line. The Raiders are only 3-point favorites against a Falcons team that is constantly underperforming. What do you make of this line?
This is what I call a rat line, and that's when you see a line that looks so good. You're like, why are the Raiders not bigger favorites? Because they've been really good against the spread the last 4 or 5 weeks, and they're facing an Atlanta team that I'm not going to say they gave up last week against New Orleans, but you were against one of your rival in-division rivals, and they had nothing against the Saints team that was without, of course, Drew Brees. I mean, that was an upset in the making, you would think, or at least your potential. So to me, I think when you look at that line, it's a rat line. I have to look at the total instead of the side, just because the Raiders might win and win handily, but I just think they should be favored by more. So when it's those cases, then I go to the total instead of the side.
Normally, the Raiders have been an over team. As I mentioned in the intro, Atlanta has hit the under in 5 of their last 7, but you've got this dynamic offense that Las Vegas was putting points right and left against the Chiefs, and they've got such a good run game with Josh Jacobs, and Derek Carr is performing like he used to when he was back in the MVP talks. Maybe not that great, but he's still doing big things for this Las Vegas offense, and their defense might be the issue, I think, in this one for me. What do you see when it comes to this total? 55 is pretty high.
It is pretty high, but this Raiders team, the balance, like you said, Jacobs' ability to run the ball has taken so much pressure off of the offensive line, which I think is kind of an iffy offensive line for the Raiders, because when your guys don't know if you're going to run or pass, you have such advantage, and they have wide open one-on-one. And if Carr could just go out there and act like he's playing the Chiefs every game, maybe everything would be all right, because the 2 games against the Chiefs, he has looked like an MVP candidate. And really, if it wasn't facing the other MVP and Mahomes, he would have won again last week. So to me, I do think the Raiders cover, but I'm going to take the over here. I just think this Raiders defense, they allow their fair share of points, but it's going to be about that explosive Raiders offense. John Gruden, would you ever imagine John Gruden would run the ball? I think it was a couple of weeks ago. He ran the ball like 12 straight plays. That's what he's done. And his ability to be able to put, his passing, he loves to pass the ball in the background and say, listen, we're going to run the ball and play action pass. And that has worked every week this last in the middle of the season. I think it continues this week. I like the over here. I think the Falcons will do their share of scoring as well, because Matt Ryan and company, that's really all they have is their passing attack. So I like the over here. And I think this one probably is not close. I think this one could get into the mid-60s.
Well, and the Raiders' defense is not the Saints' defense. The Falcons, of course, coming off that bad loss to the Saints, scoring only 9 points. But the Saints is has one of the better defenses in the league, and the Raiders not so much. And it's wild to me that the Falcons have Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, Matt Ryan, who puts up good numbers, and Todd Gurley, and somehow they don't have the production that those 4 should be putting up. So I think maybe against a bad defense, they do some work here.
Yeah, that's the case. I mean, when you look at the individual weapons on the Falcons, you're just like, how is this team at least 500? How do they get stopped against? I do like this Saints defense, but I mean, this team should put up 17 to 20 points on a bad day. I think they bounce back in a big way. I think Matt Ryan has a really big day, and that pushes this one way, way over.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for our Raiders and Falcons talk here on Picks and Parlays. As always, great insight from Craig Trapp. Craig, thanks for joining us.